they're building this foundation potentially for their next quarterback. And we had talked about it on the last episode, Kaz and Frankie, about, are the Jets going to be able to trade up if they end up with another win this year? They end up with 4 wins, and they end in that 5 to 7 range in the draft. It doesn't seem like a strong quarterback class right now with just Mendoza. We don't know this situation with Moore and Simpson. So are they going to be able to trade up for that quarterback? Kaz had mentioned, look, maybe not, just because it's few options in the draft. So we haven't really talked about, and something we might talk about in the offseason is, could there be veteran options for the Jets to look at for the quarterback position that we haven't even talked about? So for Gang Sounds Off, I think I might have found a veteran quarterback option for the Jets.
If I want to keep doing this, I have to have fun doing it. I've been through a lot, and if it's not fun, then what am I doing it for? So that's the mindset I'm trying to bring to the table.
Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it seemed frustrating.
There's just a lot of things going on right now.
Football related, personally?
All the above. Like you said, there's nothing. All we can do is focus week to week and try to win games. I don't think anybody's really thinking about the playoffs right now. That's within reach, but on our fingertips. So we just got to keep doing what we're doing and try to get better.
So look,
Ooh.
A lot of people took it 2 ways for the Burrow sound. The first being that he seems disappointed, and you have to love what you're doing, which gives a lot of people thought about the Joe Burrow, Andrew Luck comparisons of a guy who's been beat up a lot in his career. He's dealt with a ton of injuries. He's been sacked a lot, more than any other quarterback in the NFL. And there's questions about, will he pull an Andrew Luck and just decide to hang it up, and I've had enough of this game. I've gotten the most out of I can. I just don't want to keep beating my body up. That's one angle. The other angle is how I'm presenting this to you, Kaz and Frankie. If he is disappointed in Cincinnati, and the Jets have all of this capital, 5 first-round picks in the next 2 years, Kaz, you got to be picking up that phone in the offseason and saying, hey, what's it going to take for me to get Joe Burrow on the New York Jets? Am I crazy?
You're not crazy to say they should pick up the phone. You're crazy to think it can happen. There's two huge obstacles in my view.
Okay.
One, Joe Burrow has a no trade clause. Why would he want to play for the Jets? He just said the word fun.
I know, fun.
He had the word, he's having fun. Has there been a lot of fun around here in the last 15 years?
No.
Right? Like, I just think any team that needs a quarterback is probably in the same boat as the Jets. I'm not saying the Jets are different than pick a team that needs a quarterback and the Raiders or something like that. But Joe Burrow doesn't strike me as a guy. I don't know Joe Burrow. Maybe I'm completely wrong. It doesn't strike me as a guy that really would want to be in New York. Doesn't seem like like that would be the thing for him, like that he would desperately want to be here. He doesn't seem like a guy who wants to be in a ton of commercials and that kind of stuff. So that's the one thing. The second thing is the Bengals, right? Like the Bengals are a different organization than most organizations. Even if the Jets are throwing a ton of stuff at them, I just think the Bengals are going to dig their heels in and say, yeah, we're not trading him. Even if Joe Burrow's like, I don't want to play for this team anymore. We saw with Trey Hendrickson last year, right? They fought him all the way to the season. Going way back, Carson Palmer had to retire. They wouldn't trade Carson Palmer, retired, and I think then they traded him a year later to the Raiders, something like that. So this won't be like it wouldn't. I just can't see it happening. I'd be stunned if the Bengals traded Joe Burrow, and I'd be stunned if he was traded if he picked the Jets as the team he wanted to go to.
Right.
I also think if the Bengals do this, they're going to ship him to the NFC. You're still trying to win if you're Cincinnati. So I think if you have I think you're trying to get into the NFC. The Jets could go, oh, we have 5 draft picks.
Exactly. That's my pushback. They have more capital than anyone else in the NFL right now to throw at the Bengals.
Yeah, I think it's more the first 2 things is the big thing to me. I just don't see Joe Burrow wanting the Jets, and I don't see the Bengals just capitulating to what he wants.
What I will say,
that's what he wants.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you guys completely on both points, but what I will say is, a lot of people thought the same thing about Aaron Rodgers until he eventually made his decision that he wanted to come to the Jets.
Yes. Aaron Rodgers is a guy though you can see wanting New York a little bit. Like he isn't. He does like attention. He does like he does like to be front and center. So that sort of made a little sense there. And I think the writing on the wall by the end there was more with the Packers. He also, how old was he when the trade happened? I can't remember, 38,
I
39.
think he was 39 going on 40.
Yeah, Joe Burrow is 29. Am I correct?
Which is why it's so
Yeah.
it's so tantalizing. If the Jets were even,
But not if you're Cincinnati. If I'm saying like for Cincinnati's view, why would Cincinnati trade him?
well, I think they might have no choice if their quarterback says, "I don't want to play."
You
for
always
you
have a
anymore."
choice, Ryan. How many times do we hear this guy wants to trade? How many times do we hear that a year? Out of let's go San Francisco. Just take the 49ers. How many guys have demanded a trade from the 49ers? And they said no. They're like, we're not trading you. Like more guys who demand a trade don't get traded than do get traded.
Right,
Like-
but there's certainly been a shift, though, I think, in the modern athlete now, in the way, in terms of NFL, even professional teams now have gone sort of the NBA route where a player demands a trade, he's a star player, and they kind of are at the mercy of that player, either giving him a contract extension and paying him more money to stay here, or they do end up having to force their hand and trade him because he doesn't want to play for them anymore, and he holds out.
Yeah, I just think Lamar Jackson demanded a trade, right? Like he's
Yeah.
still in Baltimore. Like there's been the last 5 years, I can name like 20 guys who demanded a trade and didn't get traded. Like it happens all the time. And the Bengals are a different organization. They operate in a different way than everybody, all the other 31 other teams.
Frankie, what are your thoughts on all this of Joe Burrow?
Well, my thoughts are this. You want to end this Joe Namath curse, this Broadway Joe curse? Get the new Broadway Joe in here. I think that's the way to do it. Get the new Broadway Joe. No, listen, I think the only way that if this were to happen, the only way that it would make sense for Joe Burrow is him telling himself, hey, I'm going to be able to go to a team that actually has a unit that we just spoke about, a really good O-line that'll finally be able to protect me a bit. He's gone through injuries, and people have speculated why those injuries have happened, and they've blamed the O-line. I think it would be a home run for the Jets, but I agree with Kaz, man. It's Ryan. This stuff, this is pipe dream stuff when you're talking about a 29-year-old. When you're talking about an aging vet like Rodgers was, that's a little bit different. The market's not really there. Joe Burrow is a top 5 quarterback, and you
top
have
3. I would argue top 3.
You could argue that, yeah. You'd have teams lining up that even have quarterbacks that want Joe Burrow. You'd have the Texans with C.J. Stroud lining up. You'd have the Panthers with Bryce Young. You'd have everyone lining up, really, unless you have, a Josh Allen, Lamar, or Dak. And maybe they would line up too, the Ravens. Who knows? I'm just saying. So that's how good Joe Burrow is. You have to consider that.
Right, but none of them have, Frankie,
none
of them have the Jets draft capital. None of them.
That's true.
That's what I'm trying to say to this about this all. Let's say in this crazy scenario that I'm laying out, Joe Burrow does want out, and the Bengals they're getting their hand forced. The Jets would be crazy not to go all in and say, we're going after Joe Burrow. We're offering the 5 first-round picks, whatever it's going to take. We'll take.
You'd offer them all?
I would offer them all for him because Frankie and Kaz.
Wow.
Well, hang on, guys. So let's be honest here.
No, it's not that crazy, but it is crazy. But it's not that
crazy.
The only issue I have with Joe Burrow is his health, right? Like he hasn't been able to stay healthy, right? Like,
but
you do have to take that into account.
100%. But he is also the only guy I've seen take the Bengals to the Super Bowl in my lifetime, and also be able to do what he's done at this age. You're talking about a franchise that has not won anything recently and hasn't been to the playoffs in over 15 years, going on 16, and we're lacking that franchise quarterback since Joe Willie Namath. So if you're telling me I could get my franchise guy, hell yes. I am all in. Because the other thing, Frankie and Kaz, that we haven't mentioned is you don't have to draft the guy and hope that he develops into a Joe Burrow. You know what you're getting with Joe Burrow, which is superstar quarterback.
If he's healthy.
If he's healthy.
That's the one. But
the Jets have a better offensive line to protect him. They have a better offensive line to protect him than the Bengals do.
He's still playing football, though. Like, I get it, but it's not. That's not all on the offensive line.
But he's the most sacked quarterback in the NFL.
I get it. But like, I'd have to look at every injury he's had, though. Has it all been on sacks? or like.
Well, the foot injury, the toe injury that he just had was because he was constantly under pressure and he's trying to. I mean, like,
I know he's still playing football though. Like I realize we're putting the Jets tackles in the Hall of Fame already, but like their offensive line is okay. It's okay right now. Like let's not like this isn't. So I still think the injuries would be a concern. But yeah, I get it. They would have to try if he was available. I agree with you. Like it's a home run if they could do it. I don't know if I'd give up 5 first-round picks for him.
Ryan, I'll ask you this: is Joe Burrow is he used goods? Is he like a used car, or is he more towards a new car? Because I'm thinking he's a little bit more towards a used car at this point, given the injuries.
No.
I'm just saying, I don't think you're not getting
you're getting prime Joe Burrow. You're getting prime Joe Burrow.
If Joe Burrow came here and the Jets, if Joe Burrow came here and the Jets still stunk, that would end all you guys.
Yeah,
that
it
would be the end.
But
that would be the end, right? I feel like the Rodgers piece broke a lot of Jets fans. If Burrow was here and the Jets were still bad, that would just demolish the last fan base.
Well, then I would
be the last season in the Netflix documentary of the Jets fan base. That'd be the Joe Burrow.
It'd be the ultimate, like, this franchise is cursed. This franchise is ultimately cursed and it's never going to win again. But again, Frankie, I disagree with you tremendously on this point. Like, Joe Burrow, I understand. I hear you guys in the injury part. I think he's been beat the hell up, and that's why you're hearing the comments he's making right now. The team has not supported him the way they should have in terms of the offensive line and protecting him. And I also don't think his offensive coach, his head coach, is a great coach, to be honest with you, and Zach Taylor. I never thought he was a good head coach. I don't think he puts him in the best offensive scheme. I think he's frustrated with that too. So there's a lot of elements there. And I just think if you're telling me a 29-year-old in his prime, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and you could trade a ton of assets to get him, it's a proven commodity. And I wouldn't hesitate to ever go for that. And the Jets have a ton of cap space for it too. Go ahead.
Sorry, let me say this question. Last year or 2 years ago, I was very concerned about that wrist injury that he sustained because they were saying that he might never be able to throw the ball the same again. Now he's proven that to be wrong, I'd say, but does it creep back up? Is he going to have lingering issues with that in a year or two if he takes a hit? I mean, I'm just saying.
Patrick Mahomes has got a knee brace on. I mean, Patrick Mahomes has got a knee brace on. We saw him nursing that this past weekend. Like, are you concerned about that knee injury constantly flaring up? Like, that's what I'm saying, though, Frankie. Like, it's just, you never know.
This wrist thing was scary, though. It was potentially career ending they were talking about at the time. I'm just saying this is one of like 5 injury issues with Burrow. And Ryan, I'm with you. 2 first-rounders, yes. 3, yes. 5,
that's what I'm too. I'm the same way. I have 3 first-round picks. I would do it. If you had to trade the 2 picks in 26 and the Jets pick in 27, and then they probably have to throw like a second-round pick in as well. Go for it. Like I'm with you on most of this, Rod. Like I think he is in his prime. I don't think he's done. I think quarterbacks are a different timeline than every other player. So I think he can play for a long time still. I think if you think about Peyton Manning going to the Broncos and what he did there late in his career, Tom Brady with the Buccaneers, and this guy isn't even close to being that late in his career. I just don't know what player I'd give 5 first-round picks up for. So like you do have other holes on this team.
Completely.
Yeah, so I would hesitate to do 5, I think.
Yeah, I mean, look, you also have a ton of cap space to play with. They still, I mean, again, we're playing the what
if.
But
free agents suck.
They do.
They do. All right. That's a fun conversation, but I think it sparks different parts of your mind here, Kaz and Frankie, about like those veteran quarterback options that we haven't even talked about, which is why I thought it was fascinating after our episode. It's like, holy crap, Joe Burrow does not sound happy in Cincinnati right now. And it just makes you wonder, like, what other quarterbacks could become available in the offseason that we're not even talking about.
Yeah, that's happened the last few years. I mean, the last 5 years, that's happened where it's like, look, the Detroit LA trade was a shock. They're playing this week, right? That Stafford Goff thing, no one saw that coming. The Rodgers deal to the Jet, like Rodgers, that was shocking when he actually became available when we realized that. And there's always a surprise. It feels like in January, February now. So definitely somebody could shake free that we're not talking about.
Yep. So it makes you think about it. And look, we have still a month to go before the season is over, but I am getting excited about just talking about these things with finding the next Jets quarterback and hopefully a franchise quarterback.